Hello everyone, my name is Ramesh Singh and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to share 21 tips to optimize your conversion rate for sales pages, for sales funnels, for landing pages, or even on e-commerce websites. So let's get started. But before I jump into the the nitty-gritty of this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you get notification to all my future videos. I will really appreciate that. Thank you. This question I got in my Instagram DM. How do you increase your conversion rate and get more customer with the traffic that you are receiving or with the current traffic volume that you have for your sales funnel or for your e-commerce website? Before I start with the certain things which you can implement or we can execute to increase your conversion rate, I would like to mention few things. So remember this, approximately 3% of your visitors convert to customers. So if you got 100 visitors to your website, only 3 of them will convert. And remember that that's only if you have done certain things right in your sales funnel or in your website. Now that number is a problematic number. You need to increase that number to as much as possible. That's where conversion rate optimization comes to play. So in this video, I'm going to share 21 conversion rate optimization tips. If you put all these 21 tips to your sales funnel or your e-commerce website or your landing pages, you'll see a drastically increase in your conversion rate. So let's start with the first tip, the hero section. Some of you might know what is a hero section, some of you might not know about it. So I'll just give a very small brief introduction. What is a hero section? When you open a website, the first section that you see in the display is called hero section. So how much you can see in a display of a website in your monitor is the hero section. And remember that the first and most important tip when it comes to conversion optimization is optimizing your hero section. That is the first section which a visitor sees. If your first hero section doesn't entice or excite the visitor enough to scroll down, that's a game over for you. So you should be investing quite a good amount of time to decide your hero section. Here's some tip how to get a better hero section. Visit some of the best working sales funnels or e-commerce website and see how they have created their hero sections. That should give you an idea how to create yours. Now second tip, this is another very important aspect of sales funnel, sales copy. If your sales copy is like written by a 6th grader, forget about this getting a sales. You won't get a sales. Your sales copy needs to be persuasive and it needs to speak directly to the visitor or to the reader or to your targeted customer. It shouldn't be like you wrote for yourself. You wrote for the person who's reading it or the person who's visiting your offer page or a landing page or sales funnel. That's the best tip you can ever get. You don't need to hire a copywriter. You just need to make sure that it's convincing as well as written for the reader to satisfy all their curiosity, questions and things like that. So optimize your sales copy. The third tip which I will share is use social proof, a lot of social proof. What is the best way to make other people, make a certain person buy your product? Is to show that person that lots of other people have bought your product and they are saying good thing about you. So that is called social proof in the sales funnel or in landing page world or in their terminology. So use as much as social proof possible. This social proof can be testimonials, video testimonials, textual testimonial, video testimonial, messenger chat screenshots, or product demo videos, or some kind of infographics and things like that. And the fifth one could be media logos, like those media logos like featured in this like that. So use as much as social proof possible. The fourth tip I would share here is remove distracting elements from your landing page or sales funnel. What I mean distracting elements, like let's say you have certain animation where things come from here and there. The reader is not there for to see how cool your page is or how cool your page feels. The reader is there to buy your product or to know more about your product, to make a decision whether he should or she should buy your product or not. Taking out all the distracting element, distracting graphics or unnecessary information would help in your conversion rate. So remove distracting elements from your sales funnel. Okay, now the fifth tip here which I would like to share is set up different tools, different tracking tools. Few tools which I will recommend here is setting up a session recording tool. For those who doesn't know what is a session recording tool, it's a tool which records when a person visits. The tool records their screen, what they have done on your website, how much they have read, or how much page of your landing page or sales funnel they have scrolled, how many pages they have visited. It's pretty much your team viewing. You are using team viewer to see what they are doing on your website. So that tool needs to be there if you are just launching a funnel and you are trying to get better sales at it. So you can see how your targeted audience is reacting to your page. That's the first. The second tool is heat map tool. It's a very basic tool, but it helps you to know where on your landing page or your sales funnel page where people are putting their mouse most. That area would be highlighted. So you can tweak your call to actions or button placement based on that tool. Third one, which is Google Analytics or any tools which lets you understand your the whole audience or traffic sources on make judgment based on the traffic data. So that could be any analytical tool a Google Analytics or any other tools that you are planning to use. Now the sixth tip I would like to share here is very simple but very powerful. Make your buying process or order process very simple and seamless. You don't need to have 2 or 3 pages to make a purchase. I would suggest one page is enough. The person when click on buy now, they should directly land on add to cart, and that add to cart or order form or whatever page that you want to call it does not have much distraction there. The process should be the field should be very less, and the person buy it like that. No, don't make it confusing, or don't make your order page look a daunting task for the visitor. The simple it looks, the more conversion you're gonna get. The seventh tip, I think you must have heard this tip multiple times, but I would still like to repeat it because it tends to work always. In my whole 4 or 5 years as a sales funnel and 12 years as an working as a freelancer, as a digital consultant, this tip has never failed me. I have always figured out the problem or the cost for it when I have implemented this tip, which is A/B testing. So if you have a funnel or if you have a website, the first A/B testing you should conduct is create 2 different versions of it based on the avatars of your target audience. Create 2 versions of your landing page and drive 50% traffic or whatever the amount you decide to drive traffic, and see which one converts well. In ClickFunnels, you can do this very easily. In certain other tools, in Kajabi and things like that, you have to be a little technical to be able to do this. But if you are using ClickFunnels, it's super easy. That's the first and the simplest form of doing an A/B testing. But there's another part to it. The another A/B testing is done on the specific sections, specific wordings. You tweak certain specific section or certain colors or certain elements of your landing page, and then you see how people react to it, how your target audience react to it. And based on that, you optimize your landing page. Remember that this takes time. It's a very time-consuming process, but this works really well. And the best way to do it is test your every tweak that you make on your landing page with a pool of audience, small pool of your audience. So it will make the process faster. The 8th tip I would like to share here is avoid putting long essays in your sales copy or long paragraphs. I have seen certain sales copies which are written in a format where people have 2 or 3 paragraphs together. No one reads it. If you go through your sales page analytic or something like that, you'll find people read more sections which are related to list, or which are more graphical in representations. They spend their time more like that. So make sure you divide your sales copy in a chunks where people can digest it. The information can be digested easily by the readers. Now that's will make your conversion spike very drastically. The 9th tip here would be, don't ignore the importance of call to action. People think that by putting buttons on the sales page will get them conversion. No, that's not how easy it is. If it was, everyone would have been have an awesome sales page. You need to pay specific attention to the call to action buttons. You don't need to have just a plain button with a colors and then text on it. No, add an icon to it. Let's say if it's a download now button, add an download now icon to it. People can differentiate it, and you don't need to use download now button. Let's say if you are you have an app landing page, then you don't put download now. What you can do is put put a download icon, and then you can put sign up now, and below you can put get a 7-day trial free without a credit card, like that. Now that's a better call to action than just having a simple button. The 10th tip is going to be always offer money back guarantee. Not a lot of people will come to ask, come to you for a refund, but having this section on your landing page boosts the trust factor and the credibility factor in the eye of the visitor or in the potential customer drastically. Because it's like this now, if they can get their money back, they will buy the product more confidently than rather than having no guarantee of their money back. And not much people come with refunds, remember that. Unless your target, the ads or copy or something, your audience doesn't deviate from your target audience, you will not get much refunds like that. So offering a money back guarantee on your sales funnel can increase your conversion rate drastically. Tip 11 here is add a countdown timer on your sales page somewhere. Why countdown timer is important? Because it creates an urgency for people. It makes them like, okay, I will miss out on this if I don't take any action right now. Countdown timer is just a one form. You can add certain different elements like highlighting the pricing, discount pricing and all those. Add certain elements which creates urgency on your landing page or in your sales funnel. That urgency will create fear on missing out in the readers or in the visitor's brain, and then they will end up buying your product more as compared to that if they have this leeway. I can buy it tomorrow, I can buy it day after tomorrow, like that. No, make it them decide right there and then. The 12th is very important, the headlines and the sub headlines. People think that just putting a bolded text as a headline or sub bolded text as a sub headline gets the job done. No, it does not. You need to highlight your headlines. You need to make it visually easy for people to see, okay, this is a headline, so that they can read, and this headlines needs to be persuasive. You don't need to invest more time in your sales copy to beautify your sales copy. What you should be beautifying is the key points, headlines, sub-headline, lists, and those things. What I do, I create small graphics for my headlines and sub-headlines, like highlight certain words, underline it, put a brush effect or backgrounds behind certain words to make them look, to stand them out, and then I use it on those landing pages. This clearly defines what is a headline, what is a sub-headline, and people can read it. If your headline speaks, it converts. Simple. So the 13th tip here I will share is always share your story on the landing page. Have a section which is dedicated to you, to tell your story, the person who has created the product, the offer or something like that, and try to make your story as trustable and creditable as possible by using your experience, your media logo, featured in this media and that media, or any kind of credibility or trust increasing factor you can use to include in your story. Because people like to know, your visitor would like to know who is the person behind this product, behind this offer, and that affects the buying decision to a very great extent. So if you have a very good story about the person who has created this product, it will help you a lot in conversion rate, like that, and attach your story with a nice picture. Now the 14th tip is add an interactive chatbot. Now this I've seen lots of sales funnel or landing page skip out on, because this is an extra work. You need to spend extra money on getting the tools and all, setting it up and all that. But remember this, we live in 21st century where information is accessible through certain keystrokes. So if I want to buy this product and there is some doubt in my head which is stopping me to buy this product, I would like to get an answer for that product right there and then. Otherwise, if I put it on tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I might end up just buying something else or something similar to it. By adding an interactive chatbot, you are allowing the person to communicate with you immediately when they have the urge to, like that. And remember, the people who message you on the chatbot, they will convert if they get an amazing response, or you justify their questions with amazing answers, like that. They are sold. They are convert because they are making an effort to know about your product. So if you can satisfy their curiosity, sold. The 15th tip which I would like to share here is kind of very neglected by the sales funnel designer, unless only the sales funnel is experienced, like all the new people and all the new. it's neglected by it, which is the psychology behind the colors. People tend to ignore it, like, they just use any color which they like. Let's say if I'm a product creator and I created a product, I like blue, I will just put my whole sales funnel in blue. Now that's not how it works. Every color speaks a certain message. There's a certain wavelength to the colors, and your product needs to sync with that wavelength. Let me give you an example here. If your product is about YouTube, then the most probable color you should use is red, because when the person reads YouTube and see the red color, they can immediately connect. The connection will happen immediately. They don't even need to spend more time reading your sales copy. Now let's say your product is about wealth creation, then your color should be green. Green is the color of money. It's like it's already been fitted in here since we have started to work like that. The green is money, green is money. So your sales funnel should be the green. So understand the color psychology to a very great extent and try to implement in your sales funnel design, like the early stages of your sales funnel design. So the 16th tip which I would like to share here is add pop-ups to your sales funnel or your landing page. Pop-ups are used to be annoying, which are if are not done the right way are still annoying. But if you can spice it up by a freebie, or make the person look that they are getting a good deal out of it, then it's a good way to add pop-up. Why? Because by adding a pop-up, you are trying to get the person's email ID. The moment you get the person's email ID, you have a touch point which you can interact with the person on a consistent basis to sell your product through a powerful email sequence. You can not only sell this product, you can sell all your future product to that person also if you get their email ID. So adding pop-ups smartly, again I'm saying smartly, adding pop-ups to your landing page smartly will help you increase your conversion rate through powerful email sequences or automation to a drastic extent. Number 17, trim your form fields. Again, this is another tip which most people tend to ignore, or I'm pretty sure the most funnel designer doesn't even know about it. Before I'll talk more about the tip, I'll give an example which you can easily picture why I'm suggesting this tip. Let's say you're selling an offer, which is like a product which doesn't need an address or like country or something like this. Then why does your order form needs to have this field? You're not going to use the address or those things to purchase an order. And let's say even if you want to use it, once the person buy it, you can communicate with that person to get those extra deal. But remember, if you put a form which has like 10 fields, the person feels like it's a way too much to buy. You are not an Amazon where person comes to buy the product. You go to the person and trying to convince the person to buy your product. So you cannot put too many fields which makes the person look, okay, I'll have to spend 3 minutes here typing the whole 9 yard to get this product. No, try to trim your product field as much as possible. So now coming back to my tip, trimming your order form fields. Let's say you have a product, you can put only the name, email ID, and what else? I don't think so you need anything else. But if to certain extent you want to justify the person by the country basis, you can put on the country field also, and after that you're done. Then there doesn't need to be any more fields on that, other than I'm not including the credit card fields, because that's a mandatory field like that to process transaction. So try to keep your form fields to as short as possible. Take the information that you need to process the transaction. Rest of information you can get through a email automation or something like that. You can just send a person mail, okay, hello, thanks for buying this product and everything. I would like to to establish a better connection, I would like to know your birth date, your address, and all those things. Remember that trimming your fields, form fields, will help you increase your conversion rates drastically again. Tip number 18, upsell and downsell. Try adding upsell and downsell to your main offer. The upsell and downsell should be highly relevant to your main offer, and adjust your funnel. Make your funnel in a way that is reacting to the user's action. Let's say if user buys the main product, then he gets presented with the upsell offer. But if user is considering like not bought it yet, or he has he has not been able to decide whether he wants to buy or something. He's on the cart page or order page, but he is not taking answer. Then he gets presented with downsell offer. In downsell, you can remove certain feature or certain things from the main offer and make it a little bit lower price and present it to the your visitor or your customer. This will help you earn extra money, as well as it increases the return on your investment to a very great extent. So please try to add upsell and downsell to your main offer. Now the tip number 19 is highlighting your price. So the most important factor or the element on your sales funnel page or your landing page or any page that you're creating to sell your product or offer is the pricing. About 50 to I think more than 50% people decide to buy your product based on the pricing of your product. So you cannot underprice it and you cannot overprice it. So the pricing game is altogether a very tough game to play. So but highlighting your price accurately will help you get more conversion. And remember that the place where you highlight your there will be a section where you are you highlight your prices to at multiple places in the sales funnel. But where you are talking about the pricing, justify your pricing. Like make it feel like you're giving the person, the buyer, the customer is getting way more than what he's paying for. You have to paint that picture with the pricing module or with the pricing package like that. And if you're able to paint that picture in the visitor's mind, sell. That's a definite guaranteed sell. Now this is the tip number 20th. This is another very important tip. Why? Because this is where most sales funnel designer or sales funnel creator makes mistakes. I call this tip the right bonuses. Every sales funnel and offer comes with bonuses. Your bonuses needs to be relevant to your main offer, to your main product. You cannot just put anything that you have or to your available or to your exposure as a bonus. It needs to communicate with the main offer. It needs to be somehow related to the main product. When a person is buying the main product, the bonuses should feel like, okay, this will help me more if I buy this product. The example I could give here is when you buy a laptop, you can give the laptop bag as a bonus. You can give the a software which the person can use as a bonus. You can give any laptop accessory as a bonus. Now these bonuses will tempt the person to buy your product more, rather than just giving a random book with your laptop or random subscriptions or something like that. That's not going to entice the person to buy it. So that's why figuring out the right bonus for your sales funnel or for your offer would help you to get better conversion rate. The 20th tip is a very important tip. Why? Because this will affect your conversion rate on the order form, which is like the main where the most magic happens. On your order form, try to add certain elements which builds trust in the visitor or the potential customer's eye. That those could be those encryption badges, like secure transaction like that, or those discover cards and things like that, MasterCard logos, PayPal logos. Why it's helpful? Because it tells the person or the visitor that they can use their credit card, their debit card, their PayPal, and this the badges tell that this is a secure transaction. They don't have to worry about. The person doesn't even need to think about those things. Those labels already communicate those things. So it helps the customers to just without any worry put their card details and go with the order form. Again, add this labels and transaction to your order form pages. Now I hope all these 21 tips helps you to increase your conversion rate and make you a better sales funnel designers. To watch more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so you get the future notification of my videos. And if you want me to answer your question or create a videos on any specific topic, you can comment below this video. Thank you and have a great day.